Hello, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. And I hope you are doing well today. So, before we get into today's session, let's take a quick moment to uh, reflect on what we have discussed yesterday. So, we talked about how to begin your AI journey the right way, the proper roadmap to follow, and then how this course is designed step by step to help you grow. So, yesterday was all about giving you clarity and the direction to move forward. So, today we are going to do the hands on activity. We'll be starting with our first lesson on Python basics. Just before that, we'll discuss the data science life cycle so that we can discuss the career opportunities. And then we right away start with Python foundations today. Then we'll like in the process, we'll discuss like where exactly we have to code, what is Google Colab Notebook if you are hearing it for the first time, how to open it, and how to start coding in it. So we just had a glimpse yesterday. So today we are going to do completely hands-on activities. So let me quickly share my screen. So the agenda for today is first the data science project lifecycle. What actually happens in real world, like if you are clueless about what is the exact task of a data scientist, how the data science project lifecycle would look like, so that it would be easier for us to understand the different career paths and job roles in data science. And then we are going to discuss about career paths, and then we start with Python for AI, where exactly to code the Google Colab Notebook introduction, then the hands-on activity, the lesson one, the official lesson one of Python foundations. So let's start with data science project life cycle. So we'll start by understanding how real-world machine learning projects actually work from start to finish. So we're not again going into very technical details. I completely understand we're all beginners here. So not just theory, like the workflow, the whole company actually follows the life cycle, what we are going to show it in a couple of minutes. So that you can get a clear picture of what data scientists do on a daily basis. Uh, so here, so the first step here is business understanding. And yeah, just before starting, give me a quick thumbs up if my voice is clear for you. Am I audible? Okay. Okay. So I didn't check. Yeah, thank you. So let's start with the first step, business understanding. Every project starts here. Like business understanding simply means what is the problem we are trying to solve. So this could be in healthcare, finance, e-commerce, science, like any field. So if you're working in a banking sector, then it's related to the finance then. So for example, if hospitals want to predict which patients are at high risk, or if banks want to detect a fraudulent transaction, or if retail companies want to forecast sale. So first thing is to understanding the business. So then checking whether that particular problem can be solved using data science. So this stage actually includes identifying the problem, checking whether machine learning is actually useful here, deciding the implementation part. So a- if this step, business understanding step goes wrong, everything after this will also goes wrong. So understanding the problem and understanding whether data science can offer solution for it. So the next step, it would be data collection. So data collection, like once we know the problem statement, the next step is to get the required data. And trust me, data never comes neatly packaged. It's always like messy, unorganized. So the data is going to be sit in different databases like Oracle, Snowflake, MySQL. We have to write SQL queries to pull the required data into systems. Like if you're hearing all this for the first time, don't worry again. Yeah, we
Good,
have
good,
to
good.
put it. So someone's unmuted the session. Okay. So we have to bring this data into cloud storage, Hadoop, Databricks using PySpark. So we have to do the data collection part. And what we get is raw data, messy, incomplete. and some companies might have a different team allocator for data collection. So again, once we get the data, once we understand the problem statement, then we get the data collection, and then the third step would be data preparation. So data is raw, messy. Now we prepare that raw data so that a machine can understand it. So we clean it, we remove duplicates, we fill in the missing values if there are any missing values. We ourselves, when we fill some application forms, we kind of uh, like sometimes if it's optional, we don't fill it. So data will have missing values. We have to handle outliers, what are outliers and all. Will discuss in the actual course. So we make basically the data usable from the raw data. We try to prepare the data. So if you ask any data scientist, they'll tell you this step actually takes a lot of time. So again, if there's a separate team of analysts, data analysts, they are kind of doing this data collection and data preparation steps here. So sometimes, again, depending on the job roles, the steps are also onto the shoulders of data scientist. Again, if you have a separate team also, you have to work with them to understand it. Data scientist also should be aware of the data preparation steps, very important. Then after data is prepared, after doing this filtering and all, the next step would be exploratory data analysis. So where we look at patterns, trends, anomalies. We try to understand how the data behaves. We kind of create plots and draw insights. Drawing insights is like simply if you take an example of a regular sweet shop near in our own area, then we understand that they kind of do the data analysis. If it's a festival season, they stock up more. They kind of uh, cook more sweets there, like they kind of stock up according to the festivals and all. So they have done some data analysis. They know like at this particular month, at this time, they need to stock up. So they have drawn some insights from the past data, knowing that this particular season, these are the businesses to be, these are the type of arrangements we have to do it. Likewise, any business, if they have data, if they are able to draw insights out of the data by doing the exploratory data analysis, that would add to the business profit. So this step actually is like investigating before making any decisions. So once you do the exploratory data analysis and draw the insights out of it, the next step is like this particular step will help us choosing the right machine learning model. There are many machine learning models. So which one to use? So would like this particular fourth step would help us in that. Then the fifth step would be model development. Once the data collection is done, data preparation is done, then drawing the insights, like finding the patterns of the out of the data is done. Then the next step would be model deployment. Usually the data analyst position will be involved till here, exploratory data analysis. They don't touch the model development. The data scientist will take over the model development. We use like machine learning algorithms to train a model. When I say train a model, technically it's like mathematical model is there. You have the data, you have to give this data for the model, so that model will generate some according to the model's math behind. It would find the pattern out of it, and then if the new data is given, the model will do the prediction. So all of that model development would happen at the stage 5. How it is happening, how a model learns, how the predictions are done, we have to learn machine learning for that. So once this model development is done, depending on the problem, there are many different machine learning models like classification models, regression models, clustering. We'll be selecting it and then do the model development. Then once the model development is done, it's like training process is done. Then the next step would be model validation or evaluation. It's like evaluating the model, same like schools, we learn for the whole year, next we have the final exam. So it's like to see if the model has learned correctly or not, we have to do the validation. So we test it with new data, compare different accuracy, precision, different evaluation parameters are there. We do the model evaluation. After doing the model evaluation, if you feel like the model still needs some development, it will go back to the back steps and do the improvisation and come back. So again, so after you feel like the model has done well, then the next step would be model deployment. So once the model performs well, it's deployed. This simply means we make it available for actual users or software to interact with. So usually the data scientist job is to hand over the cleaned data pipeline, even this pre-processed code, the model files, we call it like model artifacts, or like a wrapper. Like a data scientist would hand over the model to the model deployment team. So usually most of the cases there will be a separate team who take care about the model deployment. So where we have ML engineers, so they turn it into the end point or service, something like they give the model for the end users at this stage. So this is how like a model becomes a real product from understanding the business to the final deployment stage. So this is like an entire cycle from understanding a real problem to building and deploying an actual machine learning solution. Every company follows some version of this flow. Once you understand this cycle, it would be easier for us to understand how a data scientist works in a real world. And inside the same life cycle, the company might divide into four different job roles. Let me show you. So inside this life cycle itself, so the business understanding here at this first stage, we might have a different team, business analyst. So for this first stage, we might have business analyst who talks to the clients, understands business problems, and defines project requirements, etc. And then here, second step, third step, and fourth step is done by data analyst separately, who does the data raw data, like who prepares data prepares on the like raw data. They do the pattern data cleaning, filtering, and then they do the pattern analysis, draw the insights. And then we have data scientist who focus on model development and model validation. So they prepare advanced features. It's like if you have a healthcare data, for suppose, like if you have hundreds of columns, what are the important columns which are to be taken for the model deployment? All these decisions a data scientist has to uh, do it here. So we call it like feature engineering, feature encoding, all these techniques the data scientist has to follow. And then he has to evaluate the model and decide if the model is performing well or not. So it's a lot of experimentation also happens with the data scientist role. That's the reason he got the name scientist. So each problem statement will be like a different, completely different challenge. So it's like investigating job also. So once this is done, then this is handover for machine learning engineers who take care of the deployment work. So we kind of like in software field, if there is someone who has experience with DevOps, so this machine learning engineer kind of have a similar job. It's like called MLOps, which is a combination of DevOps and machine learning. So this like usually we have a separate team which handles take care from here. But again, if in a company, if there is a like if there's a uh, artificial intelligence data science roles, like it's the combination of all these four, like all these four people will always work together. So data scientists will have touch with this team, analyst team, and business analyst team. They all together become a bigger team here. So they work hand in hand, so that whole like if a project has to be completed, there are all these people behind: business analyst, data scientist, and machine learning engineers. So this is how a data science life cycle it is. If you didn't understand anything, also it's okay, because that's what we are going to learn in this whole course. Like what are this each step, like what exactly happening. We'll be taking data sets, working on it. So we have put in this data science life cycle here so that it would help us to understand this career opportunities little better, like so that like when we say data analyst role, so what kind of where they do stand, like data analyst, like they do the data analysis and draw the insights. So research analyst, it's a similar name sometimes given for the data analyst role. AI consultant, again, they give the like business analyst, AI consultant again have something similar. So the job roles, we have to always read the descriptions again. So uh, we cannot go by the titles in this AI field. We need to check the job description, but the core responsibilities will follow the life cycle we have seen before. So here, yeah, analyst, like it's like completely detective who investigates the data. They clean the data, visualize it, and find patterns that help companies make decisions. They kind of mostly use this SQL, Excel sheet, Python, pandas, graphs they create, sometimes Power BI and all. So business analyst are someone who actually bridge between business and tech. So we didn't put in business analyst position here. They understand business problems and use numbers to recommend solutions, something like that. Very less coding. If you're interested in less coding, more communication and reporting kind of jobs, some then business analyst position suits you. And data scientist is like a problem solver who builds predictive model. So data scientists work on machine learning models. So he takes the raw data, cleans, analyzes, builds ML models, again, deliver insights of the ML model. So more technical than a data analyst position. Data analyst position is more technical. So uses machine learning algorithms, statistics, and some teams, like some companies might expect data scientists to do the deployment work too. So machine learning engineer is like a software engineer for ML model. So machine learning engineer and AI engineer is like ML AI plus software skills. So focus on deploying models into apps, scaling them, optimizing them. Like, but they these machine learning engineers and AI engineers work very closely with data scientists. So and again, machine learning engineers' work is more coding heavy. They have to focus more on coding part. So data scientists focus more on model deployment and model improvising there. So deep learning engineers and Gen AI engineering, all this again focuses on Gen AI. Engineer is a new branch from past 2 years, so where they build agents. So focus is completely little different compared to this positions here. But again, the foundation is the steps we have seen yesterday. So NLP engineer, and there is something called computer vision engineers. Usually companies are not taking directly the NLP and CV engineers. Usually, if you join a company like a data scientist, and if your company is completely focusing on image data, so you have projects related completely to image data. So it's kind of you're promoted to computer vision engineers. And if your company is completely dealing with text data, so you'll be into NLP engineer. So right away as a freshers getting into CV, computer vision and NLP, maybe you have to build a project which is completely dedicated to it. Maybe there's a chance, but usually, so computer vision engineers and NLP engineers, after getting an experience as a data scientist, depending on the projects you are working on, you'll be promoted to CV or NLP, like natural language processing engineers. So MLOps, it's like model deployment. Prompt engineer roles, yeah, there are prompt engineering roles, but again, in nobody can comment on this prompt engineering roles. Like you might see YouTube videos like prompt engineers are earning lakhs there, but this might be the role in coming years where everybody should learn this as if we are searching the Google. So AI research scientist and applied scientist, these two are academic kind of career opportunities where you focus on creating a new complete machine learning model. So it's like a academic roles where you require masters and PhD for this. So these are the different career opportunities. So coming to this course, like after with this course, you can apply for the positions of data analyst, research analyst, so data scientist. So machine learning engineer, so you have to learn ML ops, which is not covered in this particular course. So for AI engineers, so 70% it's the same thing. So extra ML ops has to be studied. NLP, still we are actually learning NLP here, but yeah, to job related, if you directly apply for NLP, if you are interested with NLP deeper topics, you have to build a project which is very strong to apply directly for this. So then Gen AI engineer, we are going to cover the prompting techniques too. So this too, yeah, completely career oriented. If you want to go into development of new machine learning models, so it's like you have to apply for masters and PhD in AI field. So and AI consultant. So if you have a background of business analyst already, so if you are now learning artificial intelligence foundation, so then you can include your past experience with AI knowledge and become a AI consultant. So this is about career opportunities. Not only this, like if you just go for the Naukri and search, there are different job titles, but for data scientists, this is the flow which happens in most of the companies. Like these are the 7 steps which has to be followed. So this is about different career opportunities. So then the next question would be who, where to code in Python. So what do you think? Where to code in Python? What are your answers here? Yeah. So where can we code in Python? So where to code in Python? So like it's not like we can do it in like notebooks or some notepad, right? So we have to have some Python IDEs for coding. So there are different, like many available, like Anaconda, Google Collaboratory, PyCharm, Eclipse, or Atom, Visual Studio. If you're already having some IDEs onto your laptop, you can even try working with those IDEs directly. But what we are going to use in our course here is Google Collaboratory. So this is the product of Google where we need only the internet and Gmail ID to access this. We don't have to install anything onto your laptops. So this is nothing but Google Collaboratory is nothing but the online version of Jupyter Notebook. So if you would have installed Jupyter Notebooks, so it is very similar to the Jupyter Notebooks, the Google Collaboratory, very easy to work with. For learning AI, like for teaching purpose, like also this is very easier for me to connect. So we are going to see how to work with Google Collaboratory today. So if you are joining through laptop, just put in the chat one if you're joining through like either you can put directly laptop in the chat if you're working on laptops today. And if you are joined through mobile, you just put mobile in the chat. So let me stop sharing for a while. Okay, Srinivas, laptop, good. So if possible, I suggest like you join through laptop so that you can do the hands-on directly with it. Okay, laptop's good. So if someone's joining from the mobile, if there's no access to laptop, for today it's okay, but I recommend like you
I
join through
have
the
a
laptop.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. In the
Hmm.
previous slide, you showed us the life cycle, right? So will you
Hmm.
be taking us through all the stages in the life cycle, or we'll be missing one or two steps, or everything
Like
is concluded?
understanding the problem, yeah. Only this step. Model deployment, I won't be showing. Like I'll show you like how a data scientist would hand over the like the model for the machine learning engineers. Till step 6 would be covered here, except MLOps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Will it be sufficient to start working on it, or should we learn something more in addition if we want to
No, no,
work
it
on
would
this?
be sufficient for a data scientist position. Absolutely, it's sufficient. But some positions it requires MLOps. Once you complete here, then I can guide you like from where you can learn the extra MLOps there. But this course we don't cover MLOps here, so we are
Okay.
not covering
Okay.
MLOps
Understood.
7 step model deployment. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So here, so I see like almost all of you are joined through laptops. Good. So I'll be sharing Google Collaboratory Notebook with you. I've already shared in the WhatsApp group also. I'll share it with you and then, okay, just a second. So how many of you know Google Collaboratory Notebook before? Have you ever heard about this before? Just put it in the chat if you know this before. You can just put one in the chat, then I know like you know this Google Collaborating Notebook already. If you can put two, then I know like you are listening to this for the first time. Okay, two, no issues. Okay, I can see two. Yeah, okay. So don't worry, like it's very easy to understand. Let me share my screen. I've shared the link. So I've already opened the Google Collaboratory. So this is how a Google Collab notebook would look like. So you need Gmail ID access and internet to work on this. So this is the notebook created by me where I've put in lesson one with all the text and activities in it. Usually every day we follow the same structure. Like I'll be sharing one link every day for the lesson. So today it's lesson one. I have all the like concepts which we are going to discuss in the class on the lesson one. So this Google Collaboratory notebook, you see this share button here, right? So once I create this, I have actually given you the view access and shared the document with you. I didn't give you the edit access because multiple people can work on the same link. So if you are coding and I'm doing the coding part, all the codes gets uploaded here. So the first step, what I recommend is that once I share this document at each class, usually I share it in the WhatsApp and I'll share it in the Teams meeting also. So I expect you to go to this file section and click on save a copy in Drive. So if you all already opened this link, then go to this file and click on save a copy in Drive. So your copy gets automatically saved onto your Google Drive. So once that document gets saved into your Google Drive, so after the class also you can access it from there. So anybody is getting the error of notebook loading error. It's a very common error. We get it if you are opening the Google Collaboratory for the first step. After clicking on the link, all of you are able to open this. Anybody had any error issues? So if you had any error issues, it's usually like we try to open in incognito mode, sometimes clearing the history, some trial and error methods we use it for solving it. But usually it's like you just need the Gmail ID access login and internet to work on it. So anytime in future also, sometimes you run it randomly, you get a error of notebook loading error. Just clear the history cache and just try to open in incognito, it would work. So if you are able to open here, just click on File, save a copy in Drive. So lesson one copy will be saved onto your Drive. So you can directly like start coding in your copy because you'll be able to code it here, but you won't be able to save it in my copy, which I have sent it for you. So this is only view access. So I'll be doing the activities on this Google Colab notebook and finally I'll save it. So this document will also be showed onto your Google Drive, or if not, also like there are like around 100 lessons, right? Every day I'll send it in the WhatsApp, but I'll try to create a Word doc also where every day lesson links would be updated in it so that you don't have to go through the WhatsApp and find the links and get confused. Lesson one with day and time, everything will be put in and organized into a Word doc so that you can directly get all the links from it. So yeah, this is how a Google Collaborative Notebook looks like, and this is the product of Google itself, where we can do the Python coding, like you can do the coding part and texting part. You see this plus code and plus text on the top. So if you want to get a new code cell, you can either click on this plus code. If you want to write something, you can click on plus text. Either you can access it from the left side here, or if you just hover the mouse onto the center of the screen, you can see the plus code here, right? If you just click on it, you're going to get the coding cell. So if I want to do some coding like 6 plus 7 is a code in Python for getting addition. If you just see this play button, you run it, it would run the code for us. So first time it would take like 2-3 seconds extra because it's connecting to the Google servers. So we don't have to worry about the system configuration because it's connected directly. Like it's like we are taking the uh, Google computers for working. So 6 plus 7 equal to 13. It's a simple code in Python for doing the addition. The same output in other programming languages like Java, C language, we have to write at least 5 to 6 lines of code. So if I want to do some texting part, so if I want to write some text, like all this I've done it in the texting cells. So if I just want to write first day or first lesson, I'm going to use this text cells. Usually for you, it's always required the code cells. Texting part I've put in here so that you don't have to worry about taking the notes. You can concentrate on the activities directly in the class. So yeah, here, so I've just put in the roadmap to data science again. So yesterday we have seen this. First the foundations, then the math, statistics, probability, exploratory data analysis, visualizations, machine learning models, deep learning, generative AI, and the advanced topics like transformers, RAG, prompt engineering, agentic AI, even LangChain, LangGraph. So you're going to learn even the attention mechanism here. So then the capstone projects and discussion on interview preparation and all. So these are the roadmap to become a data scientist. So I have got questions about yesterday for adding the timelines, right? So let me just share the show you the timelines before we start the lesson one also. So quickly go to the curriculum. I didn't share this Word doc yet with you. I'll share after just completing today's lesson. So we have divided the whole curriculum into 14 modules, right? I tried adding the timelines. Module 1 to 5, so Introduction to AI, Programming with Python Basics, and data structure like list, dictionary, tuple, set, string operations till NumPy and Pandas library. So I know like there are absolute beginners who have no idea what NumPy and all. Don't worry about it. It would take 3 weeks. So foundation of Python, NumPy, Pandas, around 15 to 16 lessons. Then exploratory data analysis would take like 3 weeks because from how to get the data sets, how to clean it, how to handle missing values, all that we have to learn here. Then the math and stats around 3 or 4 days we complete the basics which are required. Like in between here also we'll be learning it, but separately we have 2 3 lessons dedicated for it. So around 6 weeks will be on machine learning models. What are the different models? Like what is the math behind how to improvise the model? Around 2 weeks for deep learning, artificial neural networks and convolutional neural networks. Then NLP, 2 weeks. Then it's completely Gen AI for 3 weeks. So completely it's like around 20 weeks, so 5 months. So this is the timelines I've just added. So just go through this. So I'll be sharing right away the curriculum in the group also.
Meenakshi, in this timeline, can you please correlate with the life cycle stages, like which one will include what, or how is it linked to this?
Life cycle stages. So this is like business understanding. The problem understanding is just when we take the data sets because we are not working on a company right here. So the foundation of Python is programming, NumPy, exploratory data analysis. Still here, it will be uh, so it's like data collection, data preparation, and exploratory data analysis. Like second, 2 and 3 4 steps, 2 3 4 steps here. And then machine learning part, it's the data scientist uh, job, like fourth and fifth step and sixth step. All these are like data scientist roles. Deep learning, like NLP and Gen AI, are the extra topics. We are advanced topics because it's not only till machine learning. Like data scientists are also expected nowadays to learn deep learning, NLP, generative AI, which are the advanced topics right away. So this is how we can divide it. But um, so yeah, so 2 3 4 5 6 steps. So business understanding step, understanding the data problem statement itself. So that's how we can divide it. So we have some basics also here, like foundation of Python, NumPy, Pandas, which are required to do the EDA process. So you can go through like again what are the each topic. We are going to cover it here inside this curriculum. So I'll try sharing the document right away in the WhatsApp group. I've shared the Word doc with the curriculum. So let me come back to the lesson again. like if you have any questions related to curriculum and all, after the class also you can reach out. So now you can now concentrate on how to start coding on Google Collaboratory. So Python is a high level interpreted and interactive programming language that is known for its readability and simplicity. So Python has actually become famous for artificial intelligence branch because you can concentrate more on concepts rather than concentrating more on the coding syntax and all. Very easy, beginner friendly programming languages. Like before 10, 15 years, most of the branches, like engineering branches, first year students always had the C language. Right now, it's there, but again, few colleges have upgraded to Python programming language as the first programming language they introduced for the students because of its simplicity and readability. So here, well, let's start with basic arithmetic operations in Python. So if you want to add two numbers, we have seen before, like, so this is the code cell I've put in. Like if you want to add a new code cell, you can just click on plus code here. Then you will get a new code cell where you can do some addition like this. 6 plus 7 we have done. Or you want to add any numbers like this. You just use this plus operator like we do it on the calculator. This is simple addition for Python here. You see these green lines here, that here, right? These are nothing but the comments we add. So just to, these are not the coding part, just to add some comment if you're working in a team, like adding two numbers. So even if you just add hash before the 6 plus 7, it's not code anymore, it becomes a comment. So addition is very simple. Subtraction, again, simple. You can also try coding on your Google Colab notebook. So you can do the same thing on your,
I mean, actually, I got small dot here, but you're not declaring which data type it is, like integer,
yes,
float. First of all,
yes.
we need to do that, right? Because you coded at the back. That's what you have
Hmm.
done, and we are just inputting the numbers here, right? I mean, it doesn't make
Hmm.
uh, rather than going
This,
that if you could explain, basically it's integer because Python accepts anything like integer,
yes,
float. Uh,
correct. Yes, yes.
yeah, that's
Python, we don't have to declare the variables. So first we do the basic arithmetic operators, then we'll come back again talk about what are the data types and all slowly in the couple of minutes. So that's what you're asking, right? You want to know like what are integers, what are float, what are the data types in Python, right?
yeah, that's how we declare first. Then we keep on adding it, right? Rather than just putting 1, 2, 1 plus 2 like that. I mean,
So ex explicitly, we don't have to declare in Python. By default, if you just give some numbers like this, it Python decides whether what is the data type of it. Right now, I didn't introduce the word data type yet. So first, I wanted to show you what are the basic arithmetic operations can be done in Python, like how simple it is. Like if you want to do the subtraction, you can just do with the uh, minus operator like this. So it's as if like you are doing with two numbers here. So you have number one, you can have number two, you just use the minus operator here, which would do the subtraction part. Then if you want to do the multiplication in Python, so we have to use this asterisk symbol. So you have this asterisk symbol and you put in any numbers, then it would do the multiplication for us. So again, to do the division in Python, so you have this divide operator, then you use the number, so it would do the division for us. So, but if you observe the output here, when we are doing the division here, it's 3.0, right? So till here, when I'm doing the addition, subtraction, or multiplication, we'd got the rounded off values like 30 to the values here. But when I have divided, automatically I got the output, which is a decimal point. So we are going to discuss what it is in just in third or fourth activity. For now, just observe this when we are using division. Like if you are just dividing 3 by 2, it's 1.5. But if you're dividing some value which is having integer value like 10 by 2, it has to be 5, but you're getting the decimal point. So we have no control over it. This is how the syntax is designed in the backend. So when you use the division operator, the output would be a decimal number. So likewise, if you learn any new new language, even a new human language, we have different terms there. So when we are doing the Python, learning the Python programming language, which is a machine language, slowly we have to learn different terminology which is related to it. So we have a division operator. There is something called modulus. So if you have two numbers and you put in the symbol of modulus here, it would return the remainder of the division for us. So 10 modulus 2. What do you think would be the output here if I do 10 modulus of 2?
Zero.
Sorry. Yeah, correct. 0. So because modulus operator will give us this reminder for us. So when you use this modulus operator, which is you can get it from shift and 5 on your keypad. So 0 here. So if I have 5 modulus 2, what would be the output?
1.
Correct. So the reminder when you divide 2 with 5 is 1. So So we got the reminder one when you use this operator of modulus here. So again, this is about modulus operator. Then you have exponentation, like you want to raise one number to the power of another. You want to get the 2 square. So then you have to use double asterisk. You got 4. So you use 6 square, so 36. So if you just want to get the 6 cube, so double asterisk is to get the power of a value. 6 power 3, you can get it using double asterisk here. So this is modulus is something new because addition, subtraction, multiplication. Just remember that if you're coding for the first time for multiplication, we use this asterisk. But if you use double asterisk, that means we are raising one number to the power of another. This is modulus, like which gives us the reminder of a division. And you have something called floor division, divides one number by another and rounds down to the nearest integer. If you use this double slash, like if I have 6 double slash 2, so directly it's already rounded off to 3. So if I normally divide 7 by 2 with normal division, if one slash is there, it's 3.5. If I double slash 2, it would give me 3 here. See the difference? Like it's rounding off the value to the nearest integer. So we just got the rounded off value if you use the floor division here. So all these are the basic arithmetic operators we have seen with Python, right? So you can click on new code cell, take in more examples and run it. But if I want to write some words here, so in Python, if I want to write hello, so if I run it, so you see our first error saying like name hello is not defined here, right? So hello is not defined. So there is some rules we have to follow in programming language. We call it like syntax here. So for numbers, if I run it, all of this did work. None of it did throw error for us. But when I just write the text hello and run it, it did throw the error saying like, hello is not defined. So there is a rule for writing text in Python. So that is, you have to write text always in quotations, either in single quotations or double quotations. Only then it won't throw error. So, and the text we call text as strings. So this is the terminology for text. Uh, we call them like strings in Python programming language. So whenever you write numbers, no need of quotation. That's what we understood from the activity one. Whenever I'm writing numbers, that too, if you want to write some decimal numbers also, you want to do some operation on decimal numbers, you don't need quotations for it. You can directly write 3.5 into 2. But if you are working with text, we call it like working with strings, we have to give quotations for it. So simple addition I've done like 5 plus 8, it did work, right? If I have some text like this, hello, and I have the same plus operator, and I'm writing everyone. So I'm just using two words and joining them together plus operator. It would just concatenate for us. Like it would say like, we call it like concatenation, joining two words together. So I can run it. It's hello everyone join together, right? So if I want to write hello and then I want to add a number 10, what do you think would be the output? I'm trying to add an integer and a string. So this is a string, we call it. Slowly we'll try to introduce the terminology of Python. Right now, let's not call it text anymore. Whenever we write something inside quotations, let's call it a string. So we are joining a string plus a integer. It's a number, it's an integer I'm joining here using a plus operator. What do you think your output would be? If your collab notebooks are open, you can even type in like this, write hello plus 10 and run it and see what is happening there. Is it working? Is it working for you? If I just run it, you can see the error saying can only concatenate string to string, not integer. So when you are mixing types, so what are these types we are going to come to learn it in the next coming activity. So you can add integer to integer here. It did work. If I just added string to string with plus operator, it did work. But when I tried mixing the data types, when I'm trying to add hello plus 10, it did throw error saying like can only concatenate string to string, but string not string to integer. So this is how the syntaxes are designed in the backend. So either you have to convert this 10 to a string just by giving quotations like this, it would work. So just by giving quotations, this 10 is not a number anymore. Anything written inside quotations for Python programming language become a string, become a text like this. So since I've given the quotation, it converted back to string. We just got the hello 10 as a concatenated value. Either you can give quotations and convert it, or there's one more method, which is hello plus to convert that number 10 to string. I can use this str function and write 10 inside it. It will give the same output like this. So mixing data types, just see that you cannot use plus operator to add a string and integer here. So slowly we are trying to learn the syntaxes, how it is designed in the backend. This is how a plus operator is designed in the Python programming backend. So it can add two strings, it can add two numbers, but it cannot add integer and string, and we don't have control over it. That's why we are trying to learn the rules in the backend. What are the rules in the backend? So this is mixing data types, right? So this now, like we are talking about, we have seen this types, and again we are seeing strings, right? So we have different data types in Python programming language. So the data types in the sense, the different terminology you can say like for integers, the data type for any whole number, we call them integer. Int as a shortcut, we call them integers. You have some decimal numbers like this. Any decimal numbers, we call them like floating values, like we call them float. And anything enclosed in quotations, we call them string. And true and false, only true and false with F capital and T capital, we call them Boolean. So if someone asks you what are the four primitive data types of Python, then there are four primitive data types, that is integer, float, string, and Boolean. So let me ask you. So if I have a number 7.3, what is the data type of it? Will it be a
Float.
integer, float, string, or float, right? Correct.
Float.
What if, yeah, 485? What is the data type of it?
Integer.
What is 485.0?
Float, I
Float,
think.
right?
Good, yeah.
So what is the data type of this?
Boolean.
String,
Boolean, sure. String, correct. So this
string.
is true with quotations here. So
Yeah.
Boolean is only true and false without quotation and T and F capital. So there's this error here. So T and F capital here. So that is Boolean data type. So let me ask you, what is this? integer, float,
That's float.
485.
7.3. 7.3 is float.
No,
7.3 is float, correct. This one.
That is a
485.
string because it is in inverted, right?
Correct, correct. It's string, like you have 485.0 and quotations, it becomes a string. So you can even check the data type using a function. Like we are going to talk about what are functions and all again, but slowly we're introducing terminology again. There's a function called type. So if I just 485.0 here inside quotation, it would show me the data type of it also. So the same type function, if I use for 485.0, it would just give us the data type of it is float. So if I just use the type function, so the type function task is to check what is the data type of the value we have put in here. So if I use type of true, it would give me in string. If I use type of true with P capital, it would give me boolean here. So only true and false are boolean here. So false F capital. So this is like for checking like a type data type of the value using this type function. So functions is like each function has its own task associated. So in the back end, the code would have written for this type. So we can check the data type using this type function here. So these are the data types in Python here, right? So
I
before
have a
we start,
question here.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I have experience with embedded programming and C programming, and in
Hmm,
that the though there are such data types, basically in the
hmm,
memory it's used to stored in zeros and ones like normal numbers. So in the previous
hmm,
example where you showed that hello plus 10 you tried we tried, right? So in such
hmm,
cases, that would increase the value of hello by 10. For example, if C is stored as 3, then it will become 13, and then it would show the corresponding string value after adding 10. So does
hmm.
something like this also happen here, or is it different?
Like in the back end of Python, like if you're asking, like if you're having a string, you're talking about variables, like after saving it in a value like this.
Uh, no, actually, what you meant, right? So basically, there are different, like
Hmm,
small integer, long integer. So for each of them, right, we got different values, right? So if it is small
hmm.
int, it takes from one minus 128 to plus 128, right? So it's occupying the memory within the
Hmm.
database, right? That's what he's talking. Whereas coming to integer, then we got a higher number of value, right?
Okay,
So
yeah,
that's what
such
he's talking.
things are there in, yeah, that things are there in the backend of Python here also in the backend things like that. But we are not going into those details of the backend, so we are sticking with the syntaxes of Python, how to use it and all. So yeah, those things exist here also.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we have seen the data types in Python, right? So we have to see something called variables here. I'll just introduce this, but we'll discuss about variables in tomorrow's lesson. So here, what I've done here is I just created hello plus 10, just run in this code cells, right? If I want to do some operation like if I want to remember that and then reuse that particular value later on, we have to save it in some memory. Like we have to save it, like so that we can reuse it. So we call the concept as variables, where you can variables are names that you can assign values to, which will allow us to reuse them later on. Or like a simple analogy, you can think like it's like a box where you can store a value in it and you can name it so that you can reuse this value. So creating it in Python is easy. Like you can create a variable just by creating a name a equal to 10. That means in the backend, so value 10 is stored in the variable a here. So if I run it, so a here is a variable. It's not a string, and it's not a string here. You don't have quotations. So we call it like variables. So if I'm rerunning this a, you will see that output is 10, whatever value we have stored here. So if I create more variables like this, b equal to 7, if I want to add a plus b, you can add 10 plus 7 here. These are not strings, or these are not strings here. These are the variables we have created. If you check the type of A, it would give us the data type of the value stored in it. So if I create a variable saying name and store a value here, April, and run it, and now I check the type of this name, it would give the data type of this April, which is a value stored in it. So just think like variables are like a container where you can store a value in it. So we have named it as name, and we have stored a value called April here, so that you can reuse this variables later on. So again, each variable you can store single value in it. So variable can store single value in it. This naming variables, we call it like Python identifiers. We have some rules for naming the variables. We are going to see what are the rules for naming variables tomorrow. So here, actually, when you create a variable, you can even check ID of it using ID parameter. It would give the location, like the ID of that particular name in the backend. So it's difficult to remember this IDs and reuse them. So instead of having this IDs, we actually give some names. So always we prefer giving variable names which suits the value we stored in it, so that it's easy for us to reuse it. So let's talk more about this variables tomorrow. So once we do the variables, we do some print function, input function. We'll take over slowly from here to the concepts like what are functions, how to do while loops, for loops in Python programming, all that programming foundational concepts we'll discuss. So if you have questions, you can stay back. If not, we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m. with more fun like Python concepts. I have already shared the curriculum link also, right? Yeah. If not, good night, take care, bye bye, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye, see you tomorrow.
Just I got. Can I have 5 minutes, please? Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure, sure. Like, just a second, let me, yeah. Is that a question related to the course?
Yeah, they got this course actually. Uh, why are we not using PyCharm? Because normally, when we do go into the companies, we'll be not using any of this Google thing, right?
Okay, why we are not using PyCharm?
Yeah,
Because here we are,
yeah.
yeah,
If not, we'll
we
be
have,
using Visual Studio also, right? We'll be using Visual Studio, or
yes,
we'll be using. So I mean,
Google Collab
just I mean,
Notebook.
yeah.
I completely understand your question, but Google Collab Notebook is not completely, it's only for learning purpose. So right now, companies are actually using the Collab Notebooks in actual work also. It's very easy to use.
Mhm,
And officially, Google Collab Notebooks are the online version of Jupyter Notebooks. So again,
mhm.
to use PyCharm, we have to install the software onto the laptops, and we have to
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
start yeah. So and the first lessons, it's important like we concentrate on
Mhm,
the concepts directly. And with my experience, if we start installing the softwares on the first few
mhm,
days, so
mhm,
many of us lose that interest, like many of
mhm,
them, because of the I cannot personally help the configuration and
mhm,
all. It would take some time. So with my experience, I felt like Google Collab is very easy to use, communicate, like, yeah. But again, if you are interested, you can all,
yeah.
like, all that we are
Yeah,
doing it
because I'm
here.
I'm already using PyCharm.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Then you
if you're
can
using
download this
if you're using this Google Chrome, sorry, Google Colab, right? Then
Google
how do you
Collab.
integrate?
Hmm.
Yeah. Then how do you integrate with our agents or anything? When we are going for higher concepts.
I'll show you, like, don't worry, like, we have done this. So for now, let's stick to the Google Collab notebook where we have to shift, then we are going to do it. So right away on the first few days, like at least you
Mhm,
start machine learning coding. I don't recommend
mhm,
installing anything right away. If you have already expertise with it, you can do work with it. But absolute beginners, I stick on to Google Collab notebooks
mhm.
since it
Then
gives, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
As the course progresses, then you'll ask us to we'll go through the PyCharm
Yes,
or
install
just
at the right place. We'll be doing all that.
okay. But for currently, we are using this one only.
Yeah, most
Okay.
like 100 lessons you can do it on the Google Collab also. So if for someone,
Mhm,
like, I'll show you, like, if you want to install and shift, like, I'll discuss that part there. But the lesson
mhm,
plans till agent building, everything can be done on Google Collab Notebook. We have done before, yeah.
mhm, mhm. And do we
I
use a
have
similar way? Sorry.
Sorry, sir,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
continue.
So do we use a similar approach in companies also?
Like few companies right away using Google Colab notebooks, but again, not very much difference between IDEs which after you downloading and all. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
like since you work with Google Colab, suddenly you work with PyCharm or like any other different IDEs. Maybe it takes some time to accustom with it. The concepts and everything would say the same. Like the tool using would take some time to adjust with, but the coding part, syntaxes, the core concepts, the everything would be the same. Only that 2%, yeah, we can learn at any time.
Uh, mm.
So for the
Okay.
teaching purpose and for beginners, it's I recommend like this Google Colab actually is a best way to start with, so that you don't have to worry about installing the software's configuration. Not everyone has laptops which are supporting it too.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Uh, you spoke about the projects in the last section, right?
Hmm.
What would we be doing there?
So we'll be taking the data sets usually from Kaggle. So we'll be starting from the start, like how to prepare the data from the raw data. If you have missing values, how to handle the missing values from doing the data pre-processing,
Mhm.
filtering, data cleaning, pre-processing, model building. Then again, we have concepts like hyperparameter tuning and all to know the best model parameters. Then the model
Okay.
evaluation, all of this and on a single data set to showcase you like how workflow happens from start to end in real time. So
Mhm.
yeah, on a
Uh,
different data sets, maybe like two or three different projects, like one on healthcare, one on finance, like credit card data set, something like that.
And
but
will
we'll
you
be having
add
schema compilation, right?
Yeah,
Wait,
I didn't
Srinivas.
got your question.
But when you said the missing data, but we got schema compliance, right? If there is no schema, how can the data come through basically? It should have all the mandatory fields, right? Anyhow.
So you want to ask like if you don't have data sets, you mean? Like we get the data
Yeah,
sets.
yeah, the data
We
set,
get the data
yeah,
set
you
and
get the data
yeah,
sets, and all those
yeah.
data sets will be of schema compliance. That schema compliance means, in the JSON, right, we should be having all those values, right? Without those things, it won't go further down. We'll be getting some error messages. Schema
Usually,
compliance,
like
that's what I was.
we get the data into CSV files. Right now, companies are using Parquet, something like that. But CSV files, we get the data sets, we convert that data sets to data frames, something like to data frames, and we start working on it. That's how we do it on the real time also. We create data frames out of CSV files or Excel sheets or tab separated values, any other different formatted data sets. We take into the IDs like the environments here, and we convert that to data frames, pandas data frames, and work on it. That's what your question is?
Yeah, yeah. When you said, the missing values, that's what I got doubt.
Mm.
If something is a
Mm.
mandatory value, and if it doesn't,
Mm.
if it doesn't comply with the schema validation, then the schema validation will
Okay.
throw an error, right? That's what I was trying to ask.
So here, when I say like handling missing values in the sense like after converting that to a data frame, sometimes if a particular column, the age column is there for for few students, for suppose the age values are missing, so we have to handle those missing values. So again, where what you're talking about is like to get back to the schemas and see a way to find if we can get the real age of those students from that schemas like that, right? So that is like a data engineer's job. Like after getting the data set, if you have the missing values, first step is again talking with the team to see if we can get the missing values directly from somewhere, like from the schemas. But if you're not getting from there, then the next step would be to handle those missing values, whether we have to remove such redundant information, or if particular students are every student is important, then what is the next thing we can do to handle those missing values, whether replacing with a average value or or if we know like if that particular student belongs to a particular classroom, whether replacing with a particular value like 15 or 14 years, depending on which classroom. So handling missing values in my sense is this, like on the data set, if you have missing values before, it belongs to this data cleaning process. How to handle those? What are the different ways of handling it before doing the data pre-processing and all? That's what I'm talking about. So here we don't like the getting information from schemas and all. It's all like data engineer's job where they do this data preservation, getting the data sets and all. Once you get the data set, once you have a link for the data set, the raw data set, then you convert to a data frame. From there, the cleaning process and all that steps begin for a data analyst or a data scientist. That's what we are learning here.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Okay, if you have no questions, see you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.